Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk and I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today's Friday, so it's going to be a 3D item. So it used to be my Frero Fridays, but obviously I've kind of backed off the Freros, but we've got some other treats instead for you. And I'm using, you'll see here, this is the little box, but I'll show you. It's a rather fun closure. I've used the Irresistible Blooms, which is the online exclusive, so it's not in a catalogue, but it's available online, or was at the time of filming, for the sentiment here. I've used my lovely lasting label punch, a really good all-round punch to have in your stash, and the paper I've used is this Ink Botanicals from the annual catalogue. Comes in 6x6 paper, as you can see, and I'm just going to flick through the designs for you. Double-sided, as you'd expect. Lovely colours in here, which I'll go through as well, but you've got lots of the returning Lost Lagoon and Pool Party, and those are the colours I've chosen, because this little project is actually for some male friends of mine, broadcasting friends. I just wanted to say a little thank you. So these are the papers I'm using, and as you can see, they've got florals, but they've got these rather nice designs on the back that could easily be used for men as well as women. And these are the colour palettes that you've got. So from Crushed Curry through to Calypso Coral and Petal Pink and Pool Party and Lost Lagoon. So not too many colours in the palette. I think you could easily pop some very vanilla in there as well. But I've gone for this Pool Party and Lost Lagoon because I think that's a great combination to use. So let's get started. Really easy to start off with. We're just going to simply take our stamp. So I've got my thank you stamp here. I'm going to grab my Lost Lagoon ink, which I've obviously put away. So this box I thought I'd do in Lost Lagoon, but I'm going to use this paper here, which is quite light, so it will still work with the Lost Lagoon and the stamping on the Pool Party. So I'm just going to stamp that there. That's all the stamping we're doing, so not a great deal of stamping on this one. Take your lasting label punch and just decide where you want that in there. If you've got dexterity issues, don't forget, pop it down on the desk and press down. Otherwise you can press it up. It's actually better for the punch if you can do it on a flat surface. And then I'm just going to punch a second one out of my Lost Lagoon. Okay, so that's my stamp. So what we're going to do here is actually modify the punch slightly. So this is I've done this loads of times. You'll have seen lots of people do it. This is just where we trim the label and give ourselves a little bit of space so that we can add a border to our punch. And you can do it in lots of different ways if you just want a top and bottom border, but I wanted a kind of all-round border. So all I'm going to do now is just add some seal all across the back there. I do find I've done this with Tombow as well as with seal, and I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that, because it's ages since I've done this, but like I went, yeah, there's a reason I don't use Tombow. Whilst it's good in one sense because you've got wiggle room, you can get in a bit of a mess. And really, if you're not pressing down, you've still got time to just get that narrow border in. So you see I've just lined up top and bottom and then come in on the sides here. So we're just cutting into quarters diagonally, and that way we can then have our little extra layer, as you can see there. Then on the back there, ideally it would be even, but hey, nobody's going to see it, so I'm just going to pop some dimensionals, one in each corner, and that's twofold. One, it obviously lifts it up nicely, but it also helps keep those pieces glued together. So our label can go to one side. While I've got my DSP here, I'm going to cut that in half. So at 3 inches or 7.6 centimetres. I want one whole piece, and I want another piece that's just 5 centimetres, or even a fraction under. So that's the DSP that I need. And now I'm onto our little box. Oh, I didn't show you. Right, okay, our box. Yeah. So the fun thing with our box is that when it opens up, you've got these fun folding corners, which I've done boxes with that before, but I just think it's rather nice. And what does it hold? So it holds, I made it for these mini bars. So these are available from my local Aldi store, and they come in all sorts of flavours, and they come individually wrapped. So they are a great way. You can buy a pack of each. I think there's 5 bars, 5 or 6, can't remember. But this is just sized perfectly to go in there. And you can either tuck that in, the little flap, or you can have it on the outside, and then our little belly band is what keeps it closed, and we can just slide that on, and there you've got a cute little box. Obviously you could stamp that if you wanted to, but I just wanted to keep it simple because I was making a few. So there we go. So I didn't realise that's what I hadn't actually shown you what was inside, a bit pointless really. So now we've got a piece of card. So we want this piece of card to be 20 by 16.5 centimetres. And we are going to score on the short edge, so that's 16.5 one, and I'm going to do it on the right first, at 2.5 centimetres. I have done the measurements in inches as well, so I will try and remember to do those. So the card is 7 7/8 by 6.5, and you're going to score at 1 inch, 2.5 centimetres, at 7.5 centimetres, so 3 inches, at 10 centimetres, 4 inches, and at 15 centimetres, which is 6 inches. Obviously they are very slightly different. Then turn the card so that that's slightly wider, that 2.5 centimetre portion, 1 inch, is at the top. And you're going to score on the long edge at 5 centimetres, so 2 inches, and at 15, which is 5 7/8. Now keeping it in that orientation, you just want to move this to 3.5 centimetres, and you're going to score from the top down to the second score line. So you use the little line on the side of your scoring tool to bring it down. If you don't go all the way, it doesn't matter because you're going to be cutting it anyway. So you're going to do it on that side, and on this side again you're going to line it up at 3.5 centimetres, so 1.5 inches, and do the same again. So just score down to that second score line. So first score line is at 1 inch, and our second score line. Okay, so that's it for the moment. Well, you will need your trimmer again because we'll be scoring some diagonals in a moment. But now we want to trim some of this excess. So with the short edge towards you, you're going to cut up, and this is where you've done the extra score. So you're going to trim away that extra piece, like so. Notch out there, and notch out each side of the 1 inch score line, and just a little bit off the edge. Turn it and repeat. So you're going to cut down to the score line, and then you're going to cut, it's this middle section, it's a middle 1 inch section, middle there, like so, notch out. Okay, so that's what you've got so far. You're then going to cut these 2 small portions away, little skinny strips at the top. Now if you've got a corner rounder, I'm going to use my corner rounder on these, so I'm just going to tuck that in, and my old corner rounder is going to come in and round that. If not, then just notch out very slightly. Not essential, but it just finishes it off rather nicely. So you're going to end up with a piece looking like this. I want you to fold and burnish those score lines now. Get your bone folder and just give them a good rub down. And I've got to get ahead with my crafting because I'm away for a week camping at a festival, and I'm back for a week, then I'm away for a week. So a busy time ahead for me. So now, before you go anywhere, with a pencil or with an erasable pen as I've got, I I want you to just put a dot on those two intersections, because you're going to come in and you're going to score. You're going to score diagonally. Now you could do that with a ruler if you wanted to, and a scoring tool, but by adding those little dots in, what you can actually do is line up the dot in the gap in the track and put the point in the track at the bottom, and then just score up to that point, and then repeat on the other side. So point in the track, and just rotate it until you can see that dot. Make sure you're still lined up, like so. And then you're just going to, I'm tucking that flapper in, and I'm going to cut across that corner. And the same on this side. So score line and score line in line with the track, and away we go. Okay, so all you need to do now, the last little bit, just reinforce that score line. So as always, we're going to score it out first, and then we can tuck it in as well. Just take an eraser, in this instance the end of my pen, and it's sorted. So this is what we've now got, and it's just a case of folding that up. So I'm going to use my Seal Plus. I would recommend Tombow is great for this as well. Tombow is great for box making if you've got the time to kind of hold it in place, because what you don't want is it sort of springing open. But for speed on my video, it's easier with my Seal Plus. So I'm just folding that round and line it up. The same on the other side, and then just fold the front up as well, and on the other side. So you just have to be careful with the seal that you don't get it trapped and get it stuck in the wrong place. Take your 4 bars, pop those in, and then that folds down. And as I say, that will then fold in neatly to the top there. So now we're on to finish our decoration. So we've got this lovely piece here. So all I'm going to do is just fold this around very gently, and I say it almost meets. So just make sure it's nice and square, not too tight, because you want to be able to slide it off, and just crease it with your fingers. And then once you've creased it, you can take it off and hold and make sure it's lined up each side. So I'm just going to pop those around there because I don't want it to be too tight. There we go. And then the last one. There we go. Just again, sort of crease it, and then just make sure you're not folding it tighter when you crease it. And you can just do that with your fingers. So that's going to, that nice smooth top's going to go on the top here. Then underneath, all I'm going to do is add some Seal, or actually I've used Seal Plus, but Seal would do the trick, and just pop this on here. So I'm going to line up the first one. That's what I didn't want to do. And as I say, without pulling it too tight, just add it gently. Then all that remains is to pop our little thank you on the top, and we're done. So there we have a fun little folded closure box. Lost Lagoon pool party in Lost Lagoon. I think this one looks slightly more feminine. I like this one is slightly more masculine, but perhaps that's just me. But I think they're great. As you can see, if without your sparkles, they're great, but it does lift it slightly. So again, just take your pick and add a couple of, these are our iridescent gems, and I'm just going to pop, there we go, those on there. So thank you for watching. Come back and see me again soon. Don't forget, this is Irresistible Blooms, and the DSP is the Inked Botanicals. So this is a folded Hinge box to hold 4 chocolate bars, and I've got a little dinky version coming too. So hit the subscribe button, come back and see me soon, and if you can purchase by choosing me as a demonstrator, I'd be really grateful. Use the host code, you'll get automatically linked through to me. Otherwise, search for me, Heidi Smith, in the Find a Demonstrator. Thanks for watching. Bye now.